President Donald Trump has now issued sweeping pardons for those who were convicted of crimes related to the January 6th Capitol riots in 2021, including those caught on camera violently attacking police. So he pardoned nearly all of the 1,500 people charged. More than 1,100 of them had already been convicted. The rest had their cases pending. So 717 of them were sentenced to time behind bars. 251 of them were sentenced to home confinement. And while pardoning virtually all of those charged, Donald Trump did commute the sentences of 14 others, and that includes several individuals who were actually convicted of seditious conspiracy. Now, Trump's pardons also include 700 defendants who were convicted and completed their prison sentences or were never ordered to serve time. And more than 900 of these defendants actually pleaded guilty through their trials, through the court process. Now, obviously, all of this flies in the face of Trump and JD Vance's promise that he would issue pardons on a case-by-case basis and not pardon those who engaged in violent acts. So, for example, Vice President JD Vance had said just days ago that people responsible for the violence during the Capitol riot obviously should not be pardoned, but they were pardoned by Donald Trump. So more than 100 police officers were injured, 200 people were found guilty of assaulting cops. Those people have been pardoned. Some were armed with poles, bats, and bear spray. A former Metropolitan Police officer by the name of Michael Fanone lost consciousness and then later suffered a heart attack after a rioter shot him in the chest with a stun gun. Now, Trump also pardoned former Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio, who was sentenced in 2023 to 22 years in prison and commuted the sentence of Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes, who was ordered to spend 18 years behind bars for plotting to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. Now, Tarrio has already been released from prison, and I want to kind of draw attention to one other specific individual who's been pardoned and is now free, and that person is a gentleman by the name of Matthew Croll. So he is highlighted in the video that we're about to watch right now. He's the one wearing the red hoodie. You can't really tell because it's so far away, but he's an older gentleman. He stole a police baton from an officer and then proceeded to use the baton to assault police. According to the Department of Justice, Matthew Croll, 64 years old of Linden, Michigan, was sentenced to 51 months in prison and 36 months of supervised release. He actually pleaded guilty on August 15th of 2023 to one count of assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers using a dangerous weapon, which is a felony. So he is also a self-professed executive officer of the Genesee County, Michigan Volunteer Militia, and also an associate of the Wolverine Watchmen, which is an extremist group comprised of individuals who were also convicted in the plot to overturn the election. And it's just, look, I'm not in favor of violent crime, regardless of who does it, okay? I get mad at the left when they coddle violent criminals. I'm gonna get mad at the right for coddling violent criminals. You wanna make a case for pardoning some of the people who wandered into the Capitol building, didn't actually use violence against anyone and got caught up in it, that's fine. Pardoning guys like Matthew Croll, who stole a baton from a police officer and then proceeded to assault him, and other officers with said baton, how are you gonna make an argument in favor of releasing that guy?
Yeah, so look, I love doing the show with you guys. We're live 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday through Friday, as you guys know, on YouTube. And so we've got chat polls going on right now, and what you guys think of the different Bidens, the different pardons, the Biden pardons, the Trump pardons, etc. And I want to give voice to a couple of members, and then I want to come back and tell you what I think of Trump's pardons. Brian Hurst said on Super Chat, Trump ran on saying he would pardon January 6ers, promises made, promises kept. Biden said he would never and did worse. So that's an interesting point of view, and it is fair to say it's like people shouldn't be surprised. So that actually bothers me when people are like, oh, I can't believe Trump pardoned these people. Why can't you believe it? He said he was going to, and then he won the election. And then he did. Why are you pretending to be surprised? It just, like there's a lot of people in mainstream media that do that. Oh, I am shocked and chagrined by this. Guy, what did you think he was gonna do?
I mean, he ran on it, but he also made it appear as though he was gonna be a lot more nuanced in issuing these pardons. He wasn't.
Oh, yeah, but that's like, for me, Trump acting in self-interest is baked in. Of course he's gonna do the most outrageous thing. So I don't know, I'm not 1% surprised by it. I think, I love how open-minded our audience is, so many different points of view here. First, post-traumatic self disorder says, I don't give a bleep how it looks. I'm relieved for Fauci. They were going to dog that poor man into an early grave. On the other hand, Newfie Dragon says, this is why I love TYT and Cenk. I never once considered the future powerful, disastrous ramifications of Biden's preemptive pardons. Now, one last one for you guys. These are all members from tyt.com. You can sign up there as well, be part of the show. Worst case scenario, Dragon says, I'm not that mad at pardoning on January 6 people. Trump got them into that mess, told them the POTUS was behind them, convinced them that it was the right thing to do.
That's actually a really good point that in my mind got clouded by the fact that he's coddling violent criminals. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to hear any excuses for anyone. I don't care if it's politically motivated. I don't care if it's just someone who's off their rocker because they're high on bath salts. If someone is posing a threat to people, including police officers, they should suffer the consequences for that, period.
Yeah.
It makes me really angry that they were included in the blanket pardons.
So look, so here's my opinion on Trump's pardons. You want to blame Trump? Of course, 100%. Now, again, he told the American people put him in charge. That's not why they put him in charge, but they were aware of it, right? The person I blame most, to be honest, is Merrick Garland. Because he went after the small fry. He went after the average guy who has no power, who's not an elite, who broke into the building. It was an easy conviction because it's trespassing, it's breaking into the building, it violates several laws. He went after the violent people too, good, that's good, we wanted him to do that. But he left the people who actually planned the event completely untouched for 2.5 years. So what, they just did it on their own? It just popped into their head one day, all the different states, and they just decided to come to the Capitol and bum rush it? No, it was part of a plan, and they wrote it in a book, Peter Navarro did, about how it was meant to delay the proceedings so they could bring it back to the states, and at the states they would have local fake Trump electors steal the election. But Merrick Garland believes in protecting the elite, so he's like, oh, no. I would never charge Trump or any of the other people that already worked in government, because those are the beloved elites. They're free to go. And then they realize Trump's gonna run again, and he's like, oh, wait, I meant special counsel. So it was the way that he did it and the timing of it was deeply political. Merrick Garland's one of the worst attorney generals we've ever had. So now, because of that, the American people never got a full hearing on it, and they don't really know what happened. If they knew, in my opinion, if they knew what we know about what actually happened with the fake elector plot and etc., they wouldn't have put Trump back into office and those guys would still be in prison. But we never got to hear that because of how Merrick Garland handled it. So now you're saying Trump not only should be free to go, Peter Navarro, by the way, back in the White House now with Trump. And all the organizers who made those guys, who told those guys to go do it, are back in the White House and they're perfectly comfortable, but those guys have to sit in prison that whole time. So I'm with one of our members, the worst case scenario Dragon. On everybody who wasn't violent, I'm not in favor of their pardons, but I get it, man. Trump is the one who told him to do it in the first place. And he's back in power. But for the violent ones, Anna's 100% right. If you're a conservative, do you have any principles? I thought like one of the top principles of conservatives is don't let violent criminals get away with it.
Right, exactly.
Now you're saying asterisks, unless they're right wing, and they wanted to help steal an election, or whatever you frame, overturn an election, you think it wasn't stealing, I think it was. But there is no asterisks. If you're a violent criminal, you belong in prison for both sides.
I agree, 100%.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.